Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new series on the channel. Today we are starting Pokemon SoulSilver version. I'm beyond excited, and I hope you guys are excited as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this, because I'm excited to catch Lugia, and I want to catch him right now. But first off, we got to go through this little tutorial bit of get to know you section with the professor, who is Professor Oak. Surprisingly enough, Professor Oak is from Kanto. And instead of the Johto Professor, which is the region we are in the Johto region, instead of the Johto Professor greeting us, we have Professor Oak, which I always thought was pretty cool, if not kind of weird, but that's okay. I mean, at the time, Pokemon didn't know what they were doing for the most part. They had one smash hit game and they said, uh-oh, we gotta make another one. So yeah, you know, I can't really blame them too much. But yes, we are a boy. Nice to meet you, Professor Oak. And yes, we are going to go with my actual name, Spencer, because I don't go by a fake identity. That would be funny, though, if I just wrote like Adam or something. That would have been hilarious. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this. I cannot wait to get this playthrough up and running, because I feel good after getting the first playthrough done, Pokemon White, and now we're on our second one, so I feel like a bit of a veteran at this point, even though I've really done nothing. I've just talked to myself for 12 hours in a row, and now I'm going to talk to myself for 12 more hours in a row, and it'll be so much fun, and I cannot wait. But yeah, this is our mom, and get ready for the ranking Pokemon moms video coming soon. But this one's pretty good. I like her. She gives us all this stuff at the beginning that we can just put on the touchscreen. And yes, if you haven't noticed already, I think the Generation 4 games, which Heart Gold and Soul Silver is a part of Generation 4, I think they do a lot better job with the touchscreen. Because Pokemon White does have the C-Gear, which is cool, but I don't think we used the C-Gear once in the entire playthrough. I don't even think I really showed it off because, what's her face? Starts with an L, I think? The scientist girl. I hate her. She's annoying, and so we don't really like speaking to her or looking at the stuff she gives us. But yeah, this is our town. It's really cool, and I'm excited to be from here. This is New Barktown. I almost said Little Root. I was about to say Little Root. That would have been embarrassing. But we're going to go in this building where someone is peering into, which is so weird, to meet Professor Elm. Hello, Professor Elm. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing today? And of course, like in every Pokemon game, we're going to get a choice of our starter Pokemon, which I am so incredibly excited for, because I've already chosen a random number generator and a random coin flip generator to find what game we're playing SoulSilver and our starter, who I will show you guys momentarily. But Professor Elm right now is telling us to go to Mr. Pokemon's house, where Professor Oak is at currently. So yeah, we got to go there eventually. So let's look at our starters, shall we? We got Cyndaquil, the fire type, Totodile, the water type, and Chikorita, the grass type. And if you guys saw the video that went up, we are going to pick Totodile. And if I privated that video eventually because it's just a 2-minute video explaining what the series is going to be, then this makes no sense, and I apologize for the lack of consistency on my channel. I did a short little video showing you what the next playthrough is going to be, and it was fun. And it went up yesterday, and I sure hope that you guys saw it before it probably went down. So yeah, we're going to name Totodile Jaws, though. I know it's a pretty basic name for a crocodile Pokemon, but I'm feeling it. I like Jaws, and that's what we're going to go with. So yeah, deal with it, I guess. I don't know. But one thing you guys may notice about this game is that we have a Pokemon following us. Heart Gold and Soul Silver for a while were the only Pokemon games that had following Pokemon, which is an extremely sought after feature in Pokemon games. They were being ideas were being tossed around for how they could do it in modern games for a while before Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee officially brought it back. And ever since then, I believe every game has a feature in it where your Pokemon can follow you, which is really cool. All the Switch games, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that sounds right. But it's really cool, and I'm glad they did that, because I like following Pokemon, and it's just a little feature that they can add, you know, and it's fun. I really like it. Especially now that the in-game models are the same as the following Pokemon models. That's always nice. But yeah, we gotta tell our mom that we're going on a journey real quick. So that's awful. She's probably crying right now, and we're just like, well, see ya. I'll see you later. And she just gave us the Pokegear, which is kind of this generation's C-Gear equivalent, where it's a cool gadget that we can use the touchscreen to use. So that's pretty cool. But basically, the C gear is, I'd say, less techy than the C gear because with the whoa, let's try that again. With the C gear, it's all offline, and with the Pokey gear, I probably got those two mixed up. If I did, I apologize. With the Pokey gear, it's all offline, and with the C gear, it's all online. But this one's still pretty cool because it can show us a map, a radio, and we can call people, which is really cool. And I feel like I should say, if you don't know, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver are based off of games that came out in 1999. Pokemon Gold and Silver, and eventually Pokemon Crystal, which came out, I think, in 2000 in Japan, which is really cool. So these remakes came out 10 years after, and there's a lot of graphical fidelities that came in that time, which is really cool. It went straight from the Game Boy Color to the Nintendo DS, which is a huge step up. It went from basically a Nintendo Entertainment System to what can be equivalent to a Nintendo 64. So, it's pretty cool, for sure. But if you guys have looked at the screen, especially in the battles, and you've noticed, hey, this looks a lot worse than Pokemon White, take that back. It's really charming and cool. But also, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out generation before Pokemon White, which if you don't know Pokemon Generations, it basically just defines the different games that were kind of big steps up in the franchise and introduced a whole slew of new Pokemon in a new region and stuff, so that's cool. But Heart Gold and Soul Silver are based off Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, which are the Generation 4 main games, and so a lot of the assets were used to make these remakes quick and spiffy, and to make them actually look good, so that's cool. But even though Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out a year before Pokemon Black and White, it still looks pretty different. I mean, the jump isn't as big as console to console, because we still are on the Nintendo DS for both of the playthroughs. But you guys can probably tell, with no animations in the battle and the character models looking a lot smaller and less detailed, you can tell it's a bit of an older game, but luckily it's not too old, which, when I was deciding which playthrough to do next, and I had finally decided Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I did think, we're going backwards, that's weird. But then I thought, you know, it's okay, because Heart Gold and Soul Silver hold up amazingly well. And a lot of people do like them more than Black and White, which are newer, so yeah, it's pretty cool. But I did think about doing Heart Gold and Soul Silver because, well, without spoiling much, I noticed that Johto was the oldest region without any games or remakes, which 2009, I believe, in Japan was when these came out, or 2010, I forget. I know in 2010, that's when it came out in North America, but Japan, I believe, got it in 2009, but anyways, these games are pretty old at this point, probably like 14 years old, which is crazy. I was 7 when these came out, and I do fondly remember playing them for years. I always loved Heart Gold and Soul Silver, just restarting it and playing it, because it's a fun game. Especially in the post-game, which I don't want to spoil a lot about the post-game, but there were a lot of different activities to do, and it was definitely a step up from Gold and Silver's post-game, which had a pretty barren Kanto. And if you guys can look at the bottom screen and the bottom right real quick, look at those shoes. Bam! I just clicked them, or tapped them, sorry, because I am on a Super Nintendo DS. And now we can sprint all the time, which is super cool. Like, I'm not even holding the sprint button, and it's perfect. This is how Pokemon was intended to be played, for sure. But yeah, this guy who just gave us a tour forgot about something. He's going to give us the map card for our Pokegear. So yeah, we can now go into the Pokegear and look at the town map. And a mistake I made in the last playthrough that I want to remedy real quick is not looking at the town map when I got it. I feel like that's a pretty basic thing to do. But here's our contact list currently, and here's the map, which is cool. This is what Johto looks like. We are currently in Cherry Grove, and if you don't know the order of the cities, it goes bam, 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 bam. Oh, shoot. Sorry, Pam. Wait. Oh my gosh, I did this all wrong. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. That's right. Cool. So yeah, that's the order of the gyms, and oh my gosh, we're getting all the graphical glitches, are we? This is a weird thing that happens with Generation 4 games, because when you're playing them on a Super Nintendo DS, it's kind of weird, and it bugs out quite a bit. These are probably the buggiest games I've ever played on a Super Nintendo DS, or any Super console in that matter. So yeah, don't mind the graphical glitches. They're pretty normal for this hardware. Excuse me, jeez. My throat's been raspy all day, and maybe it just makes me sound more manly or something, or maybe I just sound sick. Either way, you guys are going to have to deal with it. Now, this guy's going to give us the apricorn case, which sounds pretty cool, but in actuality, apricorns are pretty useless, and I'm not going to pick a single one. Let me explain. Eventually, there is a guy who can turn apricorns into special Pokeballs, which sounds really cool in theory, but in actuality, the Pokeballs are useless for the most part, and it takes 24 hours to get the Pokeball, and you just get one. So at that point, it's like, why bother? And it's kind of a terrible mechanic, in my opinion. I never really liked it my whole life. I always thought, this is stupid, why would I do this? This is awful. So, yeah. But we are not going to pick apricorns. We're going to buy apricorns from the store. So that's an item that we won't use, sadly enough. But there are going to be a lot of items that we will never use, because this is Pokemon, and it's kind of crazy. We collect everything. Now, I didn't look at Jaw's stats. Let's go ahead and do that. Just while we have the time. We have the Lonely Nature, which is plus attack minus defense. Not perfect, but pretty dang good. And of course, we met him in New Barktown, and he was level 5, and he's capable of taking hits apparently, which is cool. But he has a Torrent ability, which is the water equivalent of Overgrow. If your Pokemon's below 1/3 HP, it does a little bit more damage with its water moves. And we have Scratch, Water Gun, Scratch, Leer, and Water Gun. Jeez, I'm all messed up. But luckily, Totodile has a pretty good defense stat as it is. And so having minus defense isn't perfect. Of course, the perfect nature would be plus attack minus special attack. It's still pretty dang good. And having plus attack is a blessing because Totodile is a physical attacker. Now, the lines between physical and special attackers were kind of blurred with our last starter when we picked Snivy, because our Snivy had minus special attack nature, which is pretty bad for superior. But luckily, Totodile having plus attack is perfect. That's exactly what we need. But I already have kind of an idea of what our team's going to look like, so I'm excited for that. And it's a really good team. I'll try not to talk about it too much, but we're not going to get the first member for a little bit, which is sad. Because I want the first member like now, you know what I mean? Like, give me that. But we're not going to worry about it. We're going to solo it with Jaws for quite a while. And then we're going to have an amazing team, and we're going to beat the Elite Four, and we're going to go to Kanto and beat Red. Spoiler alert, Red's in this game, in case you guys don't know. Now, that is a really cool thing that I want to talk about more when we actually get in the postgame. Which, to sum up Johto in the best way possible, I've never been more antsy to play through a game to get to the postgame in my life. So that's going to be a challenge for me personally. And I feel like a lot of people do like Johto a lot for the postgame. Even though Johto as a region's pretty cool, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, the Johto region, especially the gym leaders. I think they're kind of bad. I'll explain why eventually, but... yeah. Playing Tarkle and SoulSilver, a good thing is playing through Kanto, which I keep saying, and I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, it'll be amazing. But Mr. Pokemon gave us the Mystery Egg, which is cool. We have to get to Violet's... Actually, never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to return this to Professor Elm. So we're kind of doing a bit of a backtrack, which is cool. And of course, as you guys can see, Professor Oak is here, and he's going to spell some wisdom for us. Because this guy, canonically, just went through a journey with a guy named Red and Blue, his grandson. And I always thought that was really cool. How whenever Pokemon games can kind of carry stuff from past games into the newer games, I always thought that was cool. And of course, if you can't tell, Johto does it the best, because Johto is just full of Kanto stuff, which is funny, because you wouldn't think that fan service would happen like 3 years after a game came out, right? You'd think it would be quite a while before all that started. But yeah, Professor Oak is going to be gone for a while, so poor guy. we're getting a call from Professor Elm. Sadly, it's not a good call. He needs us back at the lab ASAP, and it's really important. So let's run and go there. Now, one good thing about Johto is you can get over-leveled kind of easily, and training's really easy because, well, most trainers and gym leaders are actually at a pretty low level. Like, I'd say after the 4th gym, you're probably level 20, which normally you're level 20 before the 3rd gym, I'd say. But yeah. Now this is cool. The red-headed guy from earlier, he actually is going to be our rival for this game. And to my knowledge, after Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I don't think you ever had a mean rival ever again. So, that sucks. But luckily, we get to soak in everything. And this guy, canonically, his name is Silver, so I will be calling him Silver. I'm not sure if that's what I'll name him. Oop, we can name our rival. It's pretty cool. I'm excited. But yeah, this guy is a jerk, and he hates his Pokemon. And luckily, we will see some character development from him, just like what we saw with N. But I feel like this guy's a lot worse starting. Like, he's like N started kind of ambiguous and just became a good character. But Passerby Boy, as he likes to be called, is a pretty bad guy. We'll find more about it we'll find out more about it in a second. But he is not a good man whatsoever. And hey, we just stole his trainer card, so we used identity theft to find out who he is. And of course, this game is kind of funny because it gives you that little thing and it's like, oh, you saw his name. What do you want his name to be? But as a kid, every time I played this, I'd either name him like Boy or something, like an idiot. And then in Gold and Silver, I'd name him question mark, because I'm stupid, and that's how I work. But let's quickly go back to Professor Elm's lab because he needs us as soon as possible. So yeah. There's actually a cop here, and this is really funny because the cop actually thinks that we are the ones who broke the Pokemon lab, which I always thought was really funny because I don't think we look that suspicious. But yeah, I'm gonna name this guy. I'm gonna name him Jay. Because Jay, if you're watching this, I hate you, and I want you to be my rival. If you guys don't know Jay, that's the name of Molten's, my #1 collaborator on YouTube, my boy. Someone who I need to make a video with real soon, for sure. But, yeah, we're gonna name it after Jay, because he is amazing. And fun fact, right here we give the mystery egg to Professor Elm, but in the original Gold and Silver, it doesn't make you do it immediately. So every time I play Gold and Silver, I swear 99% of the time, I will actually forget to give him the egg, and I'll just keep going, and I'll be like, what happened? I don't know what I did. But I'd say back in the Game Boy Color days, that was actually a pretty common spot for people to get stuck. Because I know I got stuck the first time I played. I was like, what do I do? These guys aren't, they aren't moving. What's happening? And Professor Elm told us to talk to our mom again, so I'm a good boy, so let's go ahead and talk to her, shall we? Now we're leaving on an adventure, cool. And she wants to save our money, and I am going to let her save it for an important reason, because it's fun, and why not? So, it's a bit of like an interest type thing where your mom will take some of your money, and it'll grow over time, and that's really cool. So, we'll always be richer than it seems. It's a pretty cool mechanic, and your mom does end up buying you stuff, which is really cool. And fun fact, this little animation is exclusive to the male character. If you chose a female character, that would not happen, and this would happen immediately. So that's always fun. I like thinking about that. But Lyra's going to show us how to catch a Pokemon, which is super exciting. And of course, Lyra's got Meryl, who is an amazing Pokemon, and I love Meryl so much. But in this generation, obviously, it's just a pure water type, because that 18th type has not been invented yet. It's still weird trying to go back to the times before that's a thing. Back when dark and dragon types were pretty overpowered. Kind of same with fighting a little bit, but mainly dragon types. They were broken. The only thing that resists dragon in these earlier generations is just steel. So if you don't have a steel type, you're taking neutral at least to dragon moves, which sucks. And of course, dragon types, if you guys don't know, are insanely strong. So good luck with that, right? That's how it's gonna be, for sure. And she gave us Pokeballs, sick. So now we can catch any Pokemon we want. Oh, and I feel like now's a good time to say it. I feel like the game didn't start like this, but it is actually the evening time, officially. So yeah, it is. There's a day-night cycle in Pokemon Heart Gold and SoulSilver, and we are currently in the nighttime, which is cool. At least I think. Either that or we're like dusk. I don't know. It looks pretty dang dark to me. But it doesn't really concern you guys. I know how invested you are in the playthrough, so maybe. But the day-night cycle is going to lead to some moments where I'm going to have to record at funny times. Like, you may see me in my pajamas, you may see me in my, like, morning clothes, whatever. But there are times where we're going to have to catch Pokemon, and it'll have to be at a specific time of the day, which is always fun. I enjoy the day-night cycle a ton. It's a blast to work with, and I love it. And I believe Diamond, Pearl, Gold, Silver, and Sun and Moon are the only games with a day-night cycle. I think Scarlet and Violet haven't, and I'm pretty sure Sword and Shield had one, but I don't know if those two, like, it affected the spawns of wild Pokemon. I'm not sure. But that's always fun, having a day and night cycle. I love it, love it. It's so cool. And that actually means that we can find cool ghost types a lot more common than in most games, which I think a lot of people don't really think about, and I don't think about it a lot too. I mean, whenever I see a ghost type, I'm like, thankfully I found one, but yeah, we can always keep an eye out for it. But sadly, ghost types are kind of hard to fit on teams, especially since there's not a lot of them, and some of them suck, so you just really want to make sure that you can get good ghost types as much as possible. Time to heal up. I think. I don't know how damaged I got. I'm just healing up instinctually, I guess. But hey, this is what a Pokemon Center looks like. It's pretty cool. This is still a generation that has Pokemarts separately. I will actually walk in there real quick just to show you guys. Wabam. I love separate Pokemarts. Of course, I much prefer them all being in one building, but when they're together, or when they're apart, sorry, it's pretty quaint. And it's fun just seeing how Pokemon used to operate. The fact that you had to heal your Pokemon and get Pokeballs in two separate areas is crazy to me. And I cannot believe people used to deal with that. It's pretty funny. But now, I think this is when the game starts to slightly pick up. I always like to say each generation picks up after a certain gym leader. And I'm not going to call one for this game exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's after like Gym 4, maybe Gym 3, I don't know, but it just picks up and you're just going. But this is when the early game definitely picks up. When Mr. Pokemon's out of the way, and you consulted Professor Elm after he got robbed, and you could just kind of keep going, and make your way through the region as fast as humanly possible. So, yeah. Speaking of which, I have a feeling this playthrough may be shorter than Black and White, just because Heart Gold and SoulSilver, as they are, I think are pretty fast games for the most part. And I don't know, there's not a ton of like sightseeing stuff, so we may just be trucking. I don't know, we'll see. But of course, I'm not trying to rush anything. I want to go through these the speed that we possibly can, and it feels pretty natural, so yeah. And hey, it's Youngster Joey, the legend. Everyone loves Youngster Joey. Look at him. He's got his Rattata. Now, Youngster Joey may just be what I think is the most popular non-essential trainer Pokemon in Pokemon history. And what I mean by that is not that Youngster Joey is not important, because he is the most important non-playable character in this entire video game. For sure. But there's a lot of memes about him, and that's pretty funny. So I like it. And honestly, we're gonna get Professor Youngster Joey's number. I really struggled there, huh? I said Pokemon Joey and then Professor Joey. Nope. It is Youngster Joey. That is his name, and I'm so sorry for getting it wrong. Ah, terrible. And now we got whatever this guy's name is. Is it like Mitchell or something? I did not even see it. I don't care. Sorry. After I'm past Youngster Joey, I don't care about you anymore, and I'm sorry for that. I really apologize. Whew. Man, starting a new game is always so weird to me. I don't know why. Like, I feel like my mind's still in Unova. It's weird, but we'll be getting in Johto very, very soon. We'll be getting in the swing of things. I'm pretty sure it normally takes me about 3 episodes completed to feel like, okay, I'm in the zone. So I'm excited for that. And I hope you guys will stick around for the later episodes. This should be a really good playthrough, and I'm excited for it. It should be one that is super satisfying to play, and one that contains a lot of cool things to do. I know definitely in the post-game there are a ton of areas that we are going to get sidetracked in, and I cannot wait for that. I'd imagine there will be countless post-game videos, and it'll be crazy, because there are 16 gyms, so that'll take up a ton of time already. And then of course we got to catch all the legendaries, get more starters. It'll be so much fun. And I'm in for the ride, and I hope you guys are too. It should be an absolute blast. And I'm ecstatic to get the opportunity to share this with you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. You're the best. Wow, we are strong, actually. I just looked at our level. We are level 10 already. Jeez. Now, Jaws is actually the starter with the lowest final stage evolution level at level 30, which is ridiculously low, especially for what you get. But it does have the highest second form evolution level, which is 18. So the gap between the second and third stage will be super small. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Wow, critical hit. Jeez. Cool. This is Dark Cave right here. We're not going to go in there because there's really nothing in there anyway, even especially in this part of the game. But yeah, let's head over here, and there is a bug catcher, but first I want to get this item. A Pokeball, always nice. Always nice to get Pokeballs. It's so great. Let's see what this bug catcher has in store for us, shall we? Ooh, bug catcher Wade, the guy. He's insane. Oh yeah, easy one-shots all around. If you guys haven't noticed, by the way, Johto has more than just Johto Pokemon in it, which is an extremely good change of pace that I'm excited for. I'll be honest, just seeing Unova Pokemon kind of made me tired of Unova Pokemon, believe it or not. But I feel like that's how most people feel after Black and White. Like, they never want to see any Unova Pokemon in, like, excuse me, in some of the later games. Because they're like, I just saw you for an entire game, please leave. But luckily, that does lend Unova to use all their Pokemon extremely well. And it doesn't feel like they're giving more attention to certain Pokemon than others for the most part. Other than, of course, the Team Plasma Pokemon and all that jazz. But Johto does show off a lot of Kanto Pokemon, sometimes to its fault. Well, sorry, I meant to press A, because I was holding my controller in a weird way for some reason. And I pressed B on accident, and I used Water Gun, which isn't the biggest deal. But I wanted to use Scratch. You win some, you lose some, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. And weight is down, and we are level 11. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. And we're not going to actually get the phone number of anyone else other than Youngster Joey, because Youngster Joey is... Oh, we got... Come on. Good evening. Did you say his Rattata's like a Rattata on top of another Rattata? That is funny. What a comedian. Youngster Joey is the guy. He's the best. You can't beat him. Youngster Joey is by far my favorite human, of all time. And I'm glad I have the privilege of being acquainted with him. Now, Hoothoot is a fun Pokemon that I use a lot. I feel like there are a lot more Pokemon in HeartGold SoulSilver that I try and mix up with my teams, but Hoothoot was, I think, my second ever playthrough of this game. I used a Hoothoot and Noctowl. Those Pokemon suck. You will have, like, Fly, Tackle, and, like, Psychic, and that's your moveset. It's awful. I would not recommend it to anybody. And Bellsprout is dead. Get out of here, nerd. You're gone. But Noctowl is fun to use. Same with Umbreon in like Generation 2 especially, where its main attacking move I think is literally Tackle. Like it learns nothing. I know in HeartGold SoulSilver when I use Umbreon, it learns I think Payback maybe its stab move or like Bite. It's so bad because I think Dark Pulse is just a neg move, which is so sad. But yeah, we're in Violet City, so let's go. Let's heal up real quick. Oh yeah. Thank you, Nurse Joy. I appreciate it. I always love anime stuff in the games. I'm not the biggest anime watcher, but the fact that there's two Nurse Joys within close proximity of each other makes me laugh pretty dang hard. But with that, I want to end off this episode. Sorry if you guys were expecting like a 45-minute first episode. I feel like this is a pretty good stopping point. But thank you guys for checking this out, the first episode of Pokemon SoulSilver, and I hope you guys will check out the next episodes in the upcoming days, and I'm really excited for you guys to see them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out, guys.